What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Civilization 5 AI only Europe battle with the Health and Plagues mod. I have finally got the top 10 list sorted. I got my math wrong and realised that halfway through the last video, but this time I'm pretty sure I got it right because I used my phone and I pressed times instead of plus, so someone was very distorted, but it's all fixed now. So straight into it, I've got all the. I'm not going to go over the points the civs exactly got, but I'll tell you how many points above each other civ they finished, and then I'll go over the point system at the end when we look at the info addict. So let's get straight into it. 10th place, bit of a shock. The Sumer did well, giant military, nothing really to say. Had the Great Wall, sat here, didn't really do anything, so I'm not going to sit here for too much. They beat 11th placed Khazar, who still did well, just going to mention them up here, by 5.5 points. So just sort of keep these figures in numbers, sort of how big the difference was between civs, and then put them sort of in reference to each other later on. But let's go on to 9th place, where we have Spain, who are 9 points ahead of the Sumer, so twice as far ahead as the Sumer were to Khazar. They took out the Moors late game, and that was all they did really. They had some islands, they lost them. They have one little city in Africa. But other than that, they've taken out the Moors. They've done pretty well. They've come out on top, I guess, in Iberia. They kind of look like real Spain does, so I guess we can give them that. And then on to 8th place, Great Britain. Surprised me, considering I thought the Celts would do better. But Britain, whatever it is, technology, production, just behind the scenes, some of those numbers were good for them. Population was a strong one for them. They were 15 points ahead of Spain, so again, much further than the Spanish were ahead of the Sumer. And now on to 7th, we only have to move across the channel to France. Now we're moving into the big 7. The 7 we were always talking about are the top 7. I'm going to let you in on that right now. The order is where some big surprises will come up. And I say top 7, I was talking about a top 6, and then someone else broke into that top 7, which I probably discredited them more than I should have. But anyway, into 7th, 14.5 points ahead of Britain. So not quite as far ahead of Britain as Britain are ahead of Spain is France. They've done well, generally. They've fought Switzerland off. They've been a bit boring, though. They haven't done enough. They fought Denmark. They lost Basel stupidly, and that's why they're sort of the lowest of the big guys. Brussels taking Glasgow. That was pretty good. But yeah, 14.5 points ahead. 7th place. Pretty... I mean, it's better than coming last, I guess. And I also just wanted to say while I'm here that out of the 21 civs remaining with a city, that 17 out of 21 earned a point. 4 of them didn't earn a point, and I believe they are Iceland, the Ottomans, and who else is there? Switzerland, and there's one more, but I think, no, the Papal States did get a point. I don't know who the other one is, but someone else didn't earn a single point. I'll get there. Oh, yeah, no, the Celts got a point. Maybe I've just counted wrong. Maybe it was just those 3. Oh no, the Moors didn't get a point. There we go. 4. So on from France to position 6, one of the surprise ones. The Garamantes, they came 6th. Yes. So, what happened to them? 10.5 points ahead of France. They just don't have enough. Their population isn't high enough, being in the desert. They don't have enough land area to gain many points. Their military is okay. I would give them that. I don't know what happened to the Garamantes. They just dawdled for such a big period. They did a lot in the late game, but in the mid game they should have been doing so much more, and they weren't. They didn't take their opportunities in the east, and it's cost them big time. They've come 6th, which was a real surprise. I was saying they were in the race, a 3-horse race for 2nd, and I was really wrong there. And anyway, up to 5th, we have one of the surprises. Sweden came 5th. They didn't take Kaupang. I wonder where they would have come if they had have taken Kaupang. But obviously that would mess everything up, so I'm not going to do that. But yes, they came 5th, but here is the point, by 0.5 points. So they were half of 1 point ahead of the Garamantes. There's halves in there, because where some of the categories where there was draws, I sort of worked out the average of the points that each civ would have got and split them. But yes, Sweden came 5th. Very big surprise. Top 5, I said, was where you should be really happy if a civ you predicted got there. I don't think anyone predicted Sweden, but Sweden should be really happy with their performance. They've been great, did well, taking out an early game who was strong Denmark, competing with Finland, taking out Iceland as well was big for them, attacking the Celts, just doing their own thing. Sweden have been really awesome this campaign. And now on to 4th. The biggest lead we've seen so far from someone behind is Arabia. They were 4th. They were 21 points ahead of Sweden. That's the 2nd biggest lead we saw from anyone to anyone between any 2 civs. So yeah, Arabia in 4th, 21 points ahead of the Swedish. They did very well. Credit to Arabia. They did well in the Arabian Peninsula. They were a bit stale again. Could they have took out Mercuria? Could they have been a bit more aggressive? Who knows? With Russia there, you know, it's tough. And obviously look at the Suma. They're very strong. Despite the Suma being weak in other areas, they are very strong military-wise. So I'm not going to say anything there. Again, I'm just giving the CIVs a pat on the back. I'm not going to tear into them for not doing well. But Sweden... So, what? Sweden? Why do I keep saying Sweden? Because Sweden was so awesome. But Arabia and Garamantes, 4th and 6th. They were two of the people I had in that top 4 nailed on in my head. Or top 3. Race for the 2nd. So, that means someone else who wasn't one of those 3 has snapped in. So, on to 3rd. Biggest surprise of all. By 11 points from Arabia. Sorry, not 1. I read that wrong. 11, not 1. Arabia, 11 points behind the Songhai. I mean, they just sat here very quietly early game, took out Mali, and just sat. They just waited. Morocco attacked them, and they just sprung some sort of trap, and boom, they took out all of Morocco, almost all of Western Africa. They've taken out, even up into Iberia. Strong air force, doing pretty good for themselves at the moment. But I was so surprised that they didn't come 2nd myself. I thought when I was counting up, I thought Arabia, they'd done it. But we're going to go on to 2nd. I mean, I don't know what to say about... Sorry, not Arabia. Songhai again. I was so surprised the Songhai didn't do it. But, again, they didn't do enough. They should have tried to attack the Garamantes because they probably would have won. But into 2nd, the big surprise, maybe some of you saw it coming more than I did. They actually look really big on the map right now. Finland. Wow, Finland. I was saying you and France were in a race for 5th and 4th, and I apologise. No, wait. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 6th. I apologise, because one, shouldn't have put you anywhere near France, who came 7th. You need to be in a class on your own. 1 point ahead of the Songhai, in all fairness, not that far ahead of them. It was very close. But well done, Finland. They took Lucerne in the last dying turns, and how important it was. 2nd place, Finland. I don't know what to say. But the problem is, we've got to talk about someone who was more dominant. Now, the lead they're given by points is a bit unfair, because they could have been miles ahead in an Info Addict, yet they would still have only got top points, which is only 1 point more than what the 2nd place Civ in the Info Addict got. So they were capped. But put it this way, Russia, they topped every Info Addict, bar 1, which I believe was Faith Gain, where they came 3rd still, which is pretty impressive for a Civ that didn't actually start its own religion. So yeah, Russia, don't know what to say. They beat Finland by 28 points, the biggest lead we saw. Incredible from them. So aggressive. They took out the Ottomans. They played a big part in the downfall of Greece. The Goths. They took out... Was it Belgium was still alive at that time? There's so many civs I can't remember. Lithuania. I think this was formerly Prussian city. They just dominated Khazar a few videos ago. So it's incredible what they've done. The Huns, Hunnic lands that they now control. So, I mean, these are former Ottomanic cities, former... not Suma, former Armenian cities, dominant from Russia. But now we're going to go over to the Info Addicts, just have a look around. I wanted to say a quick shout out to Frank Kaler, I think that's how you pronounce it, for rooting for Russia. You got it right. Good job. And that's the first time anyone on my channel has predicted the winner right. Obviously I always predict it right in the back of my head, but I don't tell you who's going to win because that would be cheating. So population, we see Russia dominant. But how the Info Addicts worked, I'm going to explain using the population chart here. Russia got 10 points, Sweden would get 9, Finland 8, Songhai 7, 6 for Arabia, 5 Suma, 4 France, 3 Great Britain, 2 Garamantes, 1 for Spain. That's how it was done. And then anyone below that got nothing, so it was really harsh if you came 11th every time. But yeah, that's what happened all the way through. Crop yield again, Russia, Songhai. But you see Finland were consistently up there in 3rd, and eventually, I don't know what happened, but they somewhere along here, Finland did better than the Songhai. I don't know where, because Russia, Arabia, Songhai, Finland has been the same the last 3 times, and again. But yeah, something happened. I'll tell you the ones I didn't include. So I didn't include approval, because it's just a percent. It's not very good. Put it that way. And look, everyone's on 100%. There is no point. Literacy, I didn't use, because you can use technologies. I did use these two. I don't think I used happiness, because it's a stupid one to use, really. I mean, not saying that in a bad way, but like Russia 110, that isn't right. They should be much lower. So I don't know. I didn't use happiness. I didn't think that would be right. I didn't use net gold. I did use GMP instead. I didn't use net gold because, I mean, most of them are on 0. so I don't know what was going on there. Actually, a lot of them are on minus, but yeah. So I didn't use net gold. I did use those. I didn't use wonders, which may have been a mistake, but they didn't get used. Whatever. I mean, a lot of civs were drawing once you got past 7th, which was the main reason for that. We also used great works, which I know is different, but it sort of balances it up. We didn't use treasury. Didn't use total faith. Faith gain was used. Influence wasn't used. Maybe I should have used that as well, but I missed that. I mean, again, lots of draws all the way down. It would have confused things when it comes down to it. Great works was used. Trade routes and tourism was not used. Again, tourism, probably should have used that, George. Idiot. But this wasn't based on who's the best at being tourism-y. This was best at who was being dominant, military, badasses. And it was Russia. So, credit to them for winning the campaign. Congratulations, Frank, for picking it right. I don't know what you get other than the congratulations, but there you go. Congratulations, Frank. And other than that, I will be back soon with a brand new series. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.